Hey cactus friends, it's Jenny from Cookies Cacti. It's another hot afternoon in Arizona, and today I wanted to show you some of the seedlings that I have growing in my outdoor shade house over here. Some of the seedlings are ready to be repotted, and I thought, what a better opportunity to go and get some shots of what they look like before I repot them. So this little shade house is actually built from one of those little plastic greenhouse kits that you can find on Amazon. Those greenhouse kits come with a plastic covering, which I used over the winter to protect some of my rot-prone plants and my adeniums. But once it started to warm up, I thought it would get way too hot in there with the plastic covering over the summer. So I replaced that covering with this kind of tan-colored shade cloth. I got the shade cloth from Home Depot, and then I have 2 layers on because when I first tried this, a single layer, some of the plants inside were burning. So there's actually 2 layers. And you can see I'm actually standing away from it right now in the shade of by my house. But if you were to look at how I put the shade cloth on, it's very unprofessional. I just bought all those clips off of Amazon, and the shade cloth is literally just clipped to the frame of the I guess you can call it a greenhouse. Well, look, we have some clouds developing. It might rain later this afternoon, which would be awesome. So let me take you inside my shade house now. All right, I am inside my shade house now, and I'm going to apologize. My camera really doesn't do well in low light, and it's a little bit dark on these 2 shelves, so I'll do the best that I can. I also have my notes here because I can't remember everything, so bear with me. And I am going to turn on my fan because it is so hot inside, and I won't be able to stay in here for long without it. So let's see how we can do with the sound. Alright, so let me show you some of the seedlings that I have growing out in here. I have the majority of my seedlings out in the shade house now because most of these are native to either Texas or Mexico, and they really love the heat. And since putting them out here, I have noticed that a lot of them are growing a lot faster. You can see over here, this is what I mean by some of the seedlings are ready to be repotted. I mean, oh my gosh, look at that. So let me kind of walk you through what I have here. So I have a bunch of Mammillaria here on the left, and you can see that some of them are starting to crowd the pots, which is wonderful, but also it means I've got a lot of repotting work ahead of me. This one is Mammillaria Shidiana and Candida mixed together. I have adult versions of both of these under my pergola. Quite fun to grow from seed, as you can tell. This one is supposed to be Epithelantha micromeris and Mammillaria lenta, but you can see it's not doing that great. I'm actually not entirely sure what is left in this pot. We've got Mammillaria carminae and Roseo centra. These I think I bought off of eBay. Kind of okay, not great success, but got some going. Then we've got this one, which I don't remember what it is. Many of these these are from seeds off of my own plant. I think it's Grammii, and then something else I forgot. I'll put it in the caption. And then the rest, I think many of these may be from Mesa Garden. Then I have some Ariocarpus. I think it's pronounced Schmectianus. Another Ariocarpus. I think this is Pseudomacrochelle or Pseudomacrochelle, but they were doing really well until earlier this year. I took them out when I only had 1 layer of shade cloth on the greenhouse, and they just started to die off, and they're still dying off. I probably had 20-30 of them in here, and now I only have 3 that are still showing signs of life. It's sad, but what can you do? I am growing more though. They're still very young, and they're indoors under the lights. Here I have Astrophytum, I think it's Capricorn V nivium. They're not old enough to show their spines yet. Got some strange growth over there. This is Astrophytum coalescens. Also some very strange looking seedlings in here. I think these seeds I bought from, may have been a seller on Etsy or eBay. And I've got more Astrophytum. There's ornatum and myriostigma mixed together. More Astrophytum. More Astrophytum. Some sort of myriostigma, I think. This one might be some sort of ornatum. So over here I have a mix of Astrophytum and Ariocarpus. And they are the Ariocarpus and Astrophytum are the same age, and you can see how much larger the Astrophytum are compared to the Ariocarpus. You know, when I first bought my Ariocarpus, I was wondering, why are they so expensive? Of course, there's the aspect of supply and demand, but after trying to grow them from seed, because when I started, I was like, oh, I can get a pack of seeds for a few bucks, or, less than $10. I can have tons of Ariocarpus for cheap. And then now I'm growing them from seed, and I'm understanding why they're expensive, because they are slow growers. And it's going to take years before these are even going to be near, some size that I can even give away. They take a long time to grow. And these are my more successful ones, because the first time I grew them, oh my gosh, I think I had probably close to 100. And then all but about 4 of them died. This is my third or fourth batch of Ariocarpus, and you can see that they're still alive, which is great. And they've been growing a little bit faster than my earlier batches, but look how small they are. These two I bought seed packs for Ariocarpus, and obviously those seeds were not all Ariocarpus. I actually don't know what these little tall guys are. If anyone knows what the ID is on those tall ones, let me know. This one I think might be a Mammillaria, and you can tell it was not a very successful pot of seedlings. I think this is an Epithelantha. Micromeris, probably. Ariocarpus. Cool, now this is a very interesting Astrophytum. This Astrophytum MYROR SB126 times SB127F2, which I take to mean that this has been hybridized many times. And you can see there's some very strange growth on that one. The description of these seeds from Mesa Garden said that they're they tend to be variegated. So this one's quite fun to grow because you get surprises. Over here is Coryphantha pulsarigiana SB288. So it has some strange growth, especially the one on the right. Can't see it from here, but they're cool plants. Here I've got Mammillaria. These were seeds off my own plant. Unfortunately, my plant died. But luckily, I've got these seedlings going. I'll put a caption of what the ID is because my mind went blank. These are also Mammillaria from seeds off my plant. This is Grammii, which is native to Arizona. They're not doing great, but they're alive because they're still green. This is Turbinicarpus, but I forgot what they are. They may be Lephophoroides. I tried Lephophoroides and failed quite miserably. They came up well, germinated well, grew well, and then when I repotted them afterwards, I don't know if maybe they're very sensitive to repotting or transplanting and watering, and they just massively died on me, and this is all I've got left. But I am trying these again indoors. Let's see, I've got Some more Mammillaria. I think these might be Nehapensis, and these were from seeds off my own plant. Growing very well, growing very fast too. And then these hold a special place in my heart because these are the first Astrophytum seeds that I had ever sown. And these were from seeds off of my own plant. My first Astrophytum ever. This is what got me hooked on growing from seed. These are now a year and 2 months old, I think. I made a lot of mistakes on these and it stunted their growth, but they seem to be quite robust because they're still alive despite all those mistakes. So I'm very happy. These were the originals. And then let me come over here. I'm just going to show you the things that I grew from seed. So here's some Saguaro. I think these are about a year old now. These were from seeds off a plant on my parents' property, which I'll show you. I'm planning to do a tour of some of the plants on my parents' property, show you some native, like Arizona plants. Really, really cool stuff. Here are some euphorbia crosses. I think it was crossed between like a Polygona snowflake euphorbia, which has passed away unfortunately, and crossed with something like another hybrid. It was like an Obesa cross something else. So this has been hybridized, 2-3 times. These were the first euphorbia that I ever grew from seed off my own plant. And they're doing quite well. This was the first Mammillaria that I ever grew from seed, and it's doing well too. And this was from a seed off of my own plant. Here are some more Saguaro. This is the same batch, about a year old, from the seeds off my parents' plant. What I had done was the birds had eaten the fruit, all the fruit from my parents' plant, and there was just a shell of a fruit left, but that shell had some seeds stuck to the interior of the skin, and those were the seeds that I harvested. And I have to say, Saguaro are quite fun to grow from seed. They've done quite well for me. They don't seem to be horrendously rot prone, which is surprising. Like these guys, every time I pick up the container and it feels light, I give them a nice heavy watering. They're growing fast. These need to be repotted soon. Here's another pot of Mammillaria seed off of my own plant. It's Nehapensis. Oh, and I think it's like Comptotricha, a mix of those two. These were recently repotted. Here I have another round of my first batch of Astrophytum seedlings that I had sown. These are the smaller ones. What I've been doing lately is I tend to repot based off of size of the seedlings. So all the big ones are together with more space, and all the little ones are potted together with more compactly because they tend to continue growing slow. I have another pot here of Astrophytum. I think this is probably some sort of Capricorn, those little ones. And we've got Ornatum, which grows quite quickly. Then I have some sort of Corypantha, which funnily enough grow tall like that. I don't know if it's supposed to do that or if it's a lack of light or what. We've got some Epiphyllantha, Micromeris. These also were doing well for a while. There were many more seedlings beforehand, and then they just started to die off, and I don't know why. I couldn't tell if they were dying from rot, from too little water, or if they just tend to do that. I don't know. There's actually one here that's kind of interesting because it's two-headed. I don't have a lot of faith in the weird special ones in living. I've had a hard time keeping all the interesting mutants alive, even though they're special, but I don't know. I don't hold my breath on those anymore. Then here I have a mix of Ariocarpus, Astrophytum, I think there's Escobaria in here, and Mammillaria, all mixed together. This was an experiment pot, which, they're still alive, but I don't know, I don't think they look great. But we'll see what happens with the experiment pot. And the last set of seedlings I'm going to show are more Ariocarpus. So let me see, there's a spider living under this tray, but these were the first and only remaining Ariocarpus that I have left from my first batch of Ariocarpus ever. I found that they tend to be more light sensitive, which is why they're sitting on the lowest shelf in here. And they seem to be quite sensitive to transplanting. So these are all that I have left, and I believe this is probably a mix of retusis and maybe trigonus. So in the same tray I've got some other ones which were in my second batch. I think these are probably nearing 7 months old now. I think there's a bunch of fissuratus in here. But, you know, they're alive. I don't know. And here's another tray. 7-month-old. These are fissuratus lloydii. And then I'll just put captions with the ID and the seed catalog number from Mesa Garden. So you can look them up on their website. Unfortunately, I think many of their Ariocarpus seeds are sold out. Although they still have some left. But these are a bit challenging to grow from seed, and they grow so darn slow. Look at that tubercle. This is part of my January batch of Ariocarpus. This one's not super successful, but of the surviving seedlings, they seem to be doing all right. This one was quite a successful pot. So you can see the success is getting better with each round. So first round, only 4 seedlings left. Second round, many more surviving. And the last round, or third or fourth round, I already lost track, doing much better. So, you know, if you try this and you fail the first time, don't fret about it. Try it again if you're willing to. You'll probably, you know, do better second, third, fourth time around. But yeah, so those are all the seedlings that I'm going to show you today in my shade house. Hopefully that's interesting. I'll be repotting some of these soon, so it'd be nice just to have a record of what they look like before I repot. Alright everybody, hope you're all having a wonderful day, morning, evening, or night, and I will talk to you all soon. Take care. Bye.